Okay, we'll let it all that out. Let it all that out later. I really hate that this fucking camera is like mirrored. Like YouTube has this setting where it's like if you use your front-facing camera, it flips the fucking image, so it's like all the fucking words are backwards and sucks, YouTube. You're listening, and I know you are. Make it so you can flip the goddamn front-facing camera, so it's everything is like on Monday when I live streamed, I did a guitar thing at the beginning. It's like it looks like I'm left-handed because the camera flips. So it's like the image is wrong. It's like, why would they do that? I don't really understand. Why? Like, it seems like a conscious decision. There is no option to change it. There's nothing like you can go in and change in the settings that I'm aware of. Maybe if I stream from some kind of third-party app. I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
We've got a run-and-gun approach to this, as we know.
Anywhere.
Doing the least effort possible. Least investment, least resource allotment. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a lot to talk about. I just had to get on. It's a beautiful day. It's 50 degrees, I think. And so, I mean, we obviously there's no shortage. It's World War IX. I mean, and there's a lot of entanglement in this war that I suppose is different, right? Like with Iraq and Afghanistan, there weren't really allies. There wasn't really like a lot of them lashing out at other countries. We went in there, we kind of just like suppressed the fucking regimes, bombed the shit out of them, occupied them. But it's like they didn't really send missiles at fucking Turkey or something that I'm aware of. I don't think they had the capability. Like, people don't really realize, like, Iran is, like, not like Iraq. It's much bigger. And they've been anticipating this for a long fucking time. And they're fucking smart people. I saw this video. It was, they have paintings of, like, F-14s that look, from the satellites and from outer space and shit, they look like real planes. So the United States bombed these paintings that they thought were planes, and the planes are all underground. Trust me, I know from firsthand experience. Like Persians, I don't know why. I click with them or something. There's some weird... I don't know what it is. But, that's not just my ex. But a lot of times I'll meet somebody, I'll sort of click with them in a weird way. It's like, oh, they're Persian. They're smart people. I don't know what it is. They're spiritual. Their country has resisted the United States in a way almost no other country has. They just kind of say, fuck you to the United States. And, it seems increasingly like they don't know what they've gotten into. Trump and Hegseth and this sort of fake movie, like their idea of what war is like based on movies and shit. Like, I don't know if people watch Hegseth's speech. He's increasingly becoming like unwatchably poisonous. Like Hegseth in particular, his rhetoric is just so foul. And it's just so fake. It's all like this pose. Like it's fucking Top Gun or like some fucking Rambo movie from the 80s. It's beyond that. It's like a B or D grade like action movie from the 80s. The dialogue and shit is so like dark. It's like we rain fire from the sky and we hit them when they were down and we control, and it's like, what the fuck is this? There's no like, usually the generals are very reasonable people, it seems like. A lot of times, you know, they're kind of boring. Who was the guy who was the general, white guy, older? I think he was the general, was presiding when they pulled over. I mean, he was like kind of a boring TV presence. He wasn't like this hotshot fucking like antagonistic. They purged the generals, right? This is something that was sort of going on last year. They were trying to get all these generals to fucking pledge like a loyalty oath and shit like this. That was stuff that was happening sort of like, you know, it was in the headlines, but you're just sort of thinking about it going, okay, well, that's what fascists do. They're just trying to get the people that are loyal to them. But like, I think it's bigger than that. I heard that some of these generals gave a speech to their troops where they were talking about how this is like prophecy, and it's like we need to bring on Armageddon so the Messiah comes back. This is literally what like the military generals are telling. So maybe it's fake news. I mean, that's another aspect of this, is that it's like now we're in this disinformation age, particularly on Twitter. And even the New York Times, I think, is a propaganda. Like, I think I'm shocked by a lot of the headlines of the fucking New York Times. Like, the New York Times is supposed to be objective in the paper of record and sort of like, but like, more often than not, it seems like they are trying to come up with ways to like prop up Trump and spin the narrative, definitely on behalf of Israel. And it's like the cat is kind of out of the bag on the Israel thing. I mean, it's every fucking thing you see in comment sections, and there's so many goddamn videos about it's Israel's fault. It's Zionists, right? It's like we're sick of being taken advantage of by them. We're being dragged into this war by Israel. That's how they justified it. Hegseth literally said they would do it anyway. We had to do it because Israel would do it anyway. And so we just had to, like, we would have gotten dragged in. That's what they said. It's like, how the fuck is that any different than Gaza? In fact, it's worse. You know, Biden wasn't really like the one that was like, let me take the fucking lead on this. Let me kill all the children. You know, they had to support Israel because after October 7th, it would have been controversial to not support our ally. And, you know, I think it's good that this is being questioned more and people are waking up to it. And there is a lot of, this is why they're buying the media. This is why Ellison owns fucking everything, because they have to stop this anti-Zionist populism from getting out. It's getting out via fucking TikTok. But Twitter is just a fucking shit show, in the true sense of the word. So it's really hard to tell what the fuck is real. You know, the official narrative is only 6 U.S. service people have died so far. And they showed pictures of 4 of them. But I saw on Twitter, the Iranians are reporting that they've killed 600 U.S. service people because they bombed all these fucking bases. You know, as far as I know, that is unprecedented. Like, I don't think Iraq really lashed. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember Afghanistan really lashing out in that way. We went into their fucking countries and laid the smack down. There was no, like, hey, they're bombing fucking Europe that I'm aware of. They didn't sink any fucking, you know, there was no warships that were sunk or anything. So it's like they bombed all these fucking embassies. They bombed goddamn Dubai. Because they have all these drones and shit, right? They have these cheap drones. See, the Iranians are smart. They're smart people. They're playing 4D chess. And the thing about Trump is he is a bull in a china shop. It doesn't matter if he fucks it up, because that is the point. He has acted impulsively, without consent, without anyone's consent, without the Congress consent, without the consent of the people. They did it in the middle of the fucking night. And the consequences are going to escalate. It already is spiraling out of control. like fucking world wars do. World War I, right, was all these entangling alliances. It's like, well, this country got slapped in the face, so fucking, Germany and this, they all had to get on the side, and France and Britain had to get on this other fucking side, even though it really had very little to do with them. And so now it's like, Trump's in a place, he's cornered, right? Just like Epstein said in the emails. You don't want to corner a rat. And so, it works to his advantage to cause chaos. These people thrive on chaos. Why don't people ever thrive on stability? Why is it always chaos? See, he thrives on chaos. Vince McMahon thrives on chaos. These capitalists, these fascists, it's always chaos. They make money. They crash everything. They scare the shit out of everybody. They kill people. They wreck the economy. The AI thing is another weird, like, mark of the beast style moment where it's like even white collar people are going to lose their fucking jobs. It's not just going to be poor people that are getting fucked. That's the thing about the 1% is they don't give a fuck. They want to make as much money as possible, and that includes 99 out of 100 people are expendable. Everybody except them, basically. If they can get robots to do everything and get to keep even more. Elon Musk, he's doing it for the good of humanity. He needs the good of Mars for all of us. He's terraforming Mars on our behalf. It's so thoughtful of him. It's the opposite. He is... He's destroying the human race and the fucking planet. In the name that he's like saving it. We're just having a nice little chat here, a nice little political. I mean, what good does it do? But it's all the pieces are aligning in a weird way. Like the AI thing, these fucking wars, the Epstein files, the domestic conflicts, ICE, Minnesota, they're escalating it all simultaneously. I mean, one of the shocking things about this is seeing how little firepower the United States actually has. Like, considering our military budget is so fucking massive, and everybody knows it, and everybody's sort of like okay with it in some fucked up way, or we can't stop it. And so we just, we hear all these facts about, our military is way bigger than any other, it's 5 times as big as any other military, or whatever the hell it is. It's outrageous how overbuilt, supposedly, the American military is. And I think what we're quickly discovering is like, wait a minute. We got a bunch of janky equipment. They're almost out of ammunition. It's like the battleships are fucking old. If you look at a lot of this equipment, it's fucking old. All these aircraft carriers and shit, it's like, it's kind of antiquated. And all Iran has is like these fucking drones and shit. It's like, you get it at Five Below. Order off Temu. It's videography equipment. They've got gimbals, they've got drones. They got selfie sticks. And they're ready to beat us with... What did they say about Afghanistan? Afghanistan, they had rocks and shit. Iran's not like that. And they have been teasing a war with Iran for a long fucking time. In Bush, they thought maybe they'd go to war with Iran. And Trump especially has been fucking slapping them in the face. It's always been one of his predominant kind of preoccupations. He thinks he can go in and just cut the head off. And the people will like rise up because they're so inspired by him. And it'll be like some movie or something. When in reality, it seems like Iran is like, okay, you dragged us the fuck into this. Like, we are gonna, it's like Ukraine or something. It's like, we're gonna drag this out. It's a war of attrition. or it's just a war of like, let's get them more involved. The United States, like, you're in this now, like, make it a land war, make it what Trump has been. You know, his rhetoric has been so blatantly the opposite of this. His rhetoric has been all fucking, we don't want to occupy, we don't want to do regime change in the Middle East. I mean, how many fucking times did we hear that on the campaign trail? Kamala will get us into World War III. J.D. Vance, that fucking little ass clown. I hate fucking J.D. Vance. We live in an evil time. You know, all of the worst people are getting rewarded. And all of the best people just have to fucking hide. Nobody understands it because they're all fucking retarded. You know, everybody's watching Andrew Schultz and Rogan and fucking Shane Gillis and shit. I remember fucking Shane Gillis going on some fucking podcast. I don't know if it was Rogan or what. Right after the Trump rally at Madison Square Garden in November, Tony Hinchcliffe from Kill Tony, an open mic show, famous open mic host Tony Hinchcliffe, probably the most famous open mic host maybe, at Madison Square Garden. Remember, he said Puerto Rico's an island of floating garbage. And people were like outraged. They thought that was the end of Trump. Remember, they thought Shane Gillis seriously went on Rogan and was like, what if fucking, wouldn't it be insane if the butterfly effect was like Tony Hinchcliffe made a racist joke about Puerto Ricans and it caused Kamala to get elected and cause World War III? That's what they thought would happen. They thought that was the end of fucking Trump's campaign, this fucking joke about Puerto Rico. And look at the world we live in now. Everybody's saying everything's fucking gay and retarded, and it's cool to be conservative, and the great uncanceling. Wokeness kind of got defeated in a way. Or, I mean, I don't think it got defeated, but it didn't work that time. Shame on you, Tony Hinchcliffe, for your unfunny joke. I mean, I'm offended, you know, it's like Seinfeld. I'm not offended as a Jewish person, I'm offended as a comedian. It was just unfunny. The guy sucks. He should not be fucking the most famous open mic host. We live in a bizarro reality of like apocalypse. And so everything is fucking upside down. It's like Yates. The worst, the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. You know, the center cannot hold. Now you figure out where I am. That's what Lou Reed said. We had Lou Reed night at open mic. It was rowdy. It was wild. It was fun. Felt like a real party. Thanks everybody for coming out. I'm going to start walking in a minute. We're only just getting into this. I mean, Jesus Christ. This is it. This is what they were talking about. You know, this is the astrological fucking, like, earthquake that they were talking about. Like, this isn't... Trump thinks it, you know, I think he thought it was going to be over like overnight or what, 4 weeks, he said, 3 to 4 weeks. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Anything that comes out of that guy's mouth is bullshit. We've known this for a long fucking time, okay? That's why we talk about it endlessly on the internet. It basically fucking is the internet now, is people just like giving political takes. The internet is 90% porn and 9% political takes that ultimately are inconsequential and do nothing, it seems like. Because Trump is funny and YMCA, and he's got aura. Bro's got aura. He mogs Kamala. I'm sorry, but he mogged her. He mogged her at that debate. Where's Clavicular? Where does Clavicular? Has he come out against the war? Has he weighed in yet? I mean, it will be interesting to see people try to... I mean, they already have. You know, the administration has already spun the fucking story, right? In the no-spin zone, in the fair and balanced Fox News right-wing asshole world, they spun the fuck out of this, right? It's like, we're not starting a war, we're ending a war. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. If you believe anything this administration says, I've got a bridge I want to sell you because you are a retard. We're going to have Tommy come in the back and hit you over the head with a tack hammer because you are a retard. I think that's... Does Bruce Halladay still watch? I'm not sure. I think he probably stopped watching because I became super judgmental of Trump voters. I've given Trump the benefit of the doubt, let's say, for the most part, even as I've been super against Trump. I try to give those people the benefit of the doubt, but we knew all this was going to happen. We fucking knew all of this was going to happen. It's taken 10 years to ramp up to this. They push a little further, they push a little further, they push a little further. Now he's got fucking immunity. Now they've got the Supreme Court. They have 6 judges. That could have been Hillary Clinton's judges. Have people been watching the Clinton testimony? Oh, I love the clips. I love seeing Hillary just like be a total bitch. It's awesome. That's my president. The Clintons. They're back. They don't want to fuck with the Clintons. There's a reason why Bill Clinton got elected, right? He's not just like... He's sort of faded, you know? In his post-presidency, he's been very kind of invisible, and he's really frail, right? Because he got this heart surgery. So it's like, he's this sort of ghost. Even when fucking Hillary ran... Like, they don't trot Bill Clinton out very much. He's looked on as the NAFTA guy, the guy who killed welfare. He's not got a good public life, really. I mean, he's got his foundation where he, you know, abducts children and whatever. Frazzle drip. But, you know, he was a powerful, charismatic president, and you know, this is something I've been thinking about. Is like, for somebody like me, it was a big deal to have Bill Clinton, this guy from Arkansas. I don't even know if he knew his dad. His dad was a traveling salesman, so he was the child. I think he had a foster dad or like a stepdad that sort of took care of him. So he was just this sort of working class poor guy from Arkansas. He's got an accent, right? But he went to fucking Oxford. He went to Yale just by his own intelligence and his own ambition. That was what America was all the fuck about. It was like, you rise up like Elvis or whatever from the dirt. Clinton was like the Elvis. He played the saxophone. And he's pretty good. Watch Clinton on Arsenio. He's pretty good. He's not bad. You can tell he actually plays that thing. And saxophone's a sexual instrument. I don't care what anybody says. People who play saxophone are freaks. That's why they play the saxophone. Because it's freaky. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. It's sensual, you know, like Kenny G, like... And, Clinton, we all know what a freak he was. He was on the island. His answer seemed reasonable to me. He wanted to use Epstein's planes for his foundation, right? He's a post-president. He's a former president. He travels in style. He needs a big fucking operation. It was unusual that a private citizen has a fucking 727 or whatever the fuck he had. And so Clinton needed that for his fucking trip to Africa to adopt the children with Chris Tucker and Bill Gates. No, he does AIDS work, right? It's famous that he does this fucking philanthropy because he gives a shit. And that's what his whole post-presidency, him and Bill Gates are in Africa giving people AIDS, okay? It's beautiful work they're doing. It's soft power. Like with Bono and Oprah. Good people, good people. And so he needs a Lolita Express, so what? He wants a little massage from a, underage fucking stewardess. So what? I mean, come on. No, he said that he was never really, he said he agreed, he had a deal with Epstein where if he talked to him for an hour about economic and world issues, he'd let him use his planes. That sounds accurate to me. That sounds like Epstein, I'm sure he was fucking like glad-handing, trading favors. This is how he blackmailed people. He wanted pictures with Clinton. He wanted pictures with all these influential people. It was part of his operation. And Clinton said something about he didn't know about any of the allegations or whatever when he decided to use the planes. If he would have known what Epstein was up to, he would have never fucking whatever. He did not have sexual relations with Epstein's island, okay? It depends what your definition of, Lolita Express is. Depends what your definition of underage, frazzle drip is, okay? Torturing. No, I believe the Clintons, okay? I think that they've been really fucking slimed by the Republican darkness machine because they try to sort of do good work and they get fucking railroaded by, these fascist business interests, these military. Clinton, there was no 9/11. I mean, there was Oklahoma City bombing. But Clinton didn't use the Oklahoma City bombing as an excuse to, militarize the fucking airports or anything. There was no, invasion. He didn't send the National Guard in or anything. What would Trump use that for? Oh, my God, they bombed a federal building. We have to arrest all of the people with who've tweeted negative memes about the president. To stop this terrorism. The only thing I'm surprised by is that they're coming out and actually just saying it. They're coming out and actually saying, this is a holy war about Armageddon. This is what we believe. It's in the book of Revelations. That's why they got Hegseth. He's got that big white nationalist cross on his fucking... It's like Vince McMahon. Trump just wants some good-looking stud. He wants some slick, gay-looking fucking Top Gun Iceman douchebag. No offense to Iceman. But Hegseth, he looks the part that Trump is trying to cast. But the problem is, now they're in a real fucking war. Not that Trump gives a shit. This is what he's been trying to break this piñata open for a long time. He wants death. He wants violence. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard there was some part of the Epstein files where it talks about, it's redacted, but it's definitely Trump. They were talking about somebody shows up to the child abuse island party and they can't wait to start killing children. They get there, they immediately start, hey, when do we get to start killing people? That's Trump. When do we get to start killing people? He's killed a lot of people. He killed those fishermen, those innocent fishermen. He killed the entire fucking government of Iran. just in cold-blooded, out of the blue ambush. Not exactly fair play. I heard somebody say that any government, any country on the planet could do that. Any country could take out the leadership of another country, but we don't do it because there's sort of respect, mutual respect. That's what peace is generally. Nobel Peace Prize, you don't traditionally get the Nobel Peace Prize for going in and killing heads of state of other countries and their fucking possible successors and their fucking predecessors and the whole fucking... It's like that was clearly like a revenge Netanyahu, like, sick mafia hit job. Revenge fantasy, like it's fucking Kill Bill or something. It's the Red Wedding. It's like, this is real life. It's not a fucking action movie. Look at these fucking soldiers that died. They don't look like fucking Tom Cruise. They don't look like Jake Gyllenhaal. They don't even look like Bradley Cooper. They're chopped. I hate to break it to you, but these soldiers are chopped. Because they're desperate, and they're just trying to do the right thing, I guess, for a paycheck. They're trying to serve their country. They didn't really, they thought Trump was the peace president. That's why they voted for him. So they wouldn't have to fight World War III. Lo and behold, they were fucking wrong. That's why he likes the dumb people. He bamboozled them. He pulled the old switcheroo. Elect me, I definitely won't start any wars. I definitely wasn't on the island. Whoops. I lied. Just like a fucking action movie. Where they turn on you. They were against you the whole time. The rat bastard. Bill Clay. So yeah, it's escalating quickly. I think they thought they could control how Iran was going to react. And, I don't think you can just fire all the generals and keep the Christian extremists and purge the ranks or whatever, fire all the trans people. And, who have they got left? Just a bunch of brain-dead, ignorant morons. People with no foresight, people with no... they said Netanyahu's been trying to pitch this to every president. They've wanted... I remember John McCain, bomb Iran. He said that as a joke, but he wasn't really joking. They've wanted to get rid of these fucking people because they're the seat of like Islamic, like this supreme commander guy was like the Pope of whatever, the Shia. There's 300 million Muslims who like this guy was the spiritual leader of. That's probably part of the reason why they wanted to kill him. It's not quite like killing the Pope, but it's not that far off. And so, they kind of want to provoke a terrorist reaction so they can escalate. But I don't get how they're going to fight this war. Like, right? We don't make anything in America anymore. China makes probably all of our fucking guns or bullets and we're running out already. Where did the military budget go? Where did all these trillions of fucking dollars go? They went into the pockets of private contractors, BlackRock, Palantir, AI fucking douchebags. The worst people. Let's start walking. I got a new selfie stick today. I mean, it's a piece of shit. These Five Below. My last one, as I was setting it up for the open mic on Monday, the fucking latch that snaps the fucking phone into the selfie stick broke off. And all of the other pieces had already broken off. You know, it's got 3 legs. It's a tripod. All of the legs snapped off. So I was putting it in a wine bottle. And, you know, it was still working, sort of. And then the fucking holder snapped. So the thing is, that's why on Monday, I mean, Jesus Christ, the video was like all over the place. I haven't quite figured out how to film the downstairs open mic yet, because I had a stationary shot that I thought was pretty good the previous week, but I don't know. It visually is kind of static. I was sort of imitating some of the other live streams, the fucking, you know, a lot of these venues just have like a static, it's almost like a security camera or something set up. You know, like kind of far from the stage, so you see a little bit of the audience. I kind of like that, but, you know, just one angle for 4 hours or whatever, not necessary. You get everything, you know, like you get when people go out into the audience, you get when they come down off the stage or whatever, wherever they go. You get some of the audience, which is kind of nice to see that, you know, environment. Which was something that I never really got. I mean, in the Red Room, it's like I always put the camera in the exact same place. So
pine cone. Shall we see if we find any more?
and it's just like, I guess it was darker in there. Maybe you couldn't even see the fucking audience if you pointed the camera at them very much. Which one is gonna be here? So this week, my fucking, I mean, this monopod, it's a piece of crap. It costs $5. It's like Temu crap. But I have to have something, so I just got another one, just like it's a quick, hopefully it doesn't break completely before Monday. Knock on wood. Hopefully, you know, they don't nuke the planet before Monday. So our World War III party on Monday. Sign up for a World War III open mic. World War March, the 3rd month. People like the Lou Reed theme. You know, I guess that's no surprise, but the rock and roll themes do kind of well for us. The Iggy Pop theme. I mean, I think we had a little. Okay, I gotta get away from these children. I don't like filming anywhere near children. You know, the Iggy Pop was like the biggest night we ever had. And then Monday was like one of the biggest nights we've ever had. So I think people were in the mood to party. Well, the previous week was one of the worst weeks we ever had because of the blizzard. I mean, literally, you know, it was right before the open mic was this giant blizzard. And so, you know, I had a lot of people signed up. I had 50 people signed up that week, but, you know, 30 of them canceled, or maybe even more than that. So we were done pretty early. And then, so a lot of people, like, you know, were like, Didn't go the week before, so they were definitely gonna come out that week. So I should put my sweater on. I should just go over there or something. This action here. Some of this nice. So yeah, we're talking about World War III. It's already started. Pop the bubbly. Shots fired. 6 Americans killed. So yeah, I saw on Twitter 600 Americans have died. Because they bombed all these fucking bases. Supposedly they bombed every goddamn base in the Middle East that the United States has. And so, who knows? I saw footage of they hit some fucking skyscraper in Dubai with a drone. And, I don't think there were any casualties, but maybe I should go over here. I don't think there were any casualties, but or who knows? We don't know. They lie about everything. This was also part of their Project 2025, which is like fire all the statistics, fire the labor statistic, just get rid of all of it. Get rid of all the data. Get rid of the EPA. We don't have climate change if we don't have data. If we don't have statistics, if we don't have science, just get rid of science. Jesus Christ. Get rid of, that pesky facts. Get rid of those pesky facts so we can control. We don't know how many people have lost their jobs. We don't really know how the economy's doing because they want to get rid of all of the fucking data collecting and reporting. These quarterly reports or whatever it is. Trump does everything fucking, didn't he try to do that with like the hurricane? They got rid of the National Weather Service. Now it's like nobody fucking knows when this shit's gonna happen because it's like, what? I heard that they spent as much money already on fucking missiles as they saved with all of the Doge bullshit. All of the cuts, all of the people they fired. Getting rid of U.S. aid, soft power, things that were like smart, actually good for America. Good for American standing in the world. I guess, the other day I was talking about how we don't have any allies, but it's like, I guess it's weird. Our allies are Israel and Saudi Arabia, right, in this. Or I think they even said, I think I saw a fucking, okay, pal. I think I saw a fucking, article about all the European nations are going to send troops. They don't agree with it. They don't like it. But like England and France and all these countries are like going to send troops to support us. It's like, what the fuck? I guess because they don't want to get their ass attacked. They said it was the first time they fired like a missile at like Europe or something since, I don't know. NATO shot down some missile that was like heading to Cyprus or something. So, you get what you pay for, fucking MAGA dumbasses. But, this is the agenda of the Christian psycho-fascist, the death cult of the book of Revelations. Maybe they just are the ones that have the nuts to bring on the fucking pain. Maybe we're just weak. We can't make the tough decision of like, yeah, let's just kill them. Just kill them all.
When we went in the comments, it really cared.
Just kill them. None of these other presidents had the balls. Kamala wouldn't have the balls. Biden didn't have the balls. Obama definitely didn't have the balls. Even Bush didn't have the balls. Trump is the chosen one. You pledge your loyalty oath to the Messiah. The Messiah has come. It's Donald Trump. Spoiler alert. It's kind of a fucking shitty climax to humanity. This fucking Gila monster. This fucking poopy pants. Roast comic, insult comic. Mean-spirited. Child rapist. Cold-blooded murderer now. Killing everybody in their whole government. Just take them out. Just do it. Get it done. It is accomplished. So it's a dirty business, but is Trump writing himself into the Bible? Is this what they'll be talking about 1,000 years from now? I mean, is this the end? Is it going to happen quickly? It's hard to tell, you know. It says like the age of Aquarius is like, it's the dawn of the age of Aquarius, but it's like 200 years or something before it like really starts. And it's like Armageddon could go on forever, or it could go on a long time. It could be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It could be decades. You know, this might just be another chapter in a longer destruction, longer decay. Maybe Baron Trump will be the fucking... You know what? Fuck. Don't just send Barron. Send Don Jr., send Eric. Fuck, send Jared Kushner and Ivanka too. You want to start an illegal war without the consent of Congress. Only Congress has the power to declare war. The founding fathers wrote it that fucking way on purpose. So the president would not have the power of a king, and one person couldn't make this decision because they wanted to without telling anybody, like he did. It's illegal what he did. It's probably one of the most fucking illegal things that's ever happened. But they've already decided that if the president does it, it's not illegal. And so there's not going to be midterms. You know, there's not going to be an election in 28. Or if there is, it'll be fixed just like the last one. I don't think Trump got elected. I mean, it's shocking that there are people who support him, and there are a lot of people who do, and a lot of people who voted for him, but I don't think he won the election, to be honest. Because a lot of the people who are apolitical or whatever, they're just like, I just don't even vote. I wouldn't even vote. It's not even worth it to vote. Like, they're both shitty. Why would they take the time to go out and vote for him? I don't know. That just doesn't seem... I mean, I know some people do. But people that are, like, supposedly apolitical or libertarian or whatever the hell, they don't care about politics. I guess they might be going out and voting for Trump more than people who don't know anything about politics. You know, they just want something different. When he ran against Hillary, the perception of, I mean, where we were at, just like as a country, was a lot fucking different. You know, Hillary was still kind of like this kind of boring, conventional establishment, politician or whatever. It didn't take a lot of prodding with the emails, Comey reopening the investigation right before the election for people to just jump to conclusions about her being corrupt. And, I think because people thought Donald Trump did not have a chance, they stayed home, right? I think that actually I think that helped him win. Because people just thought, there's no fucking way this guy will win. I don't need to vote for her. Like, I'm not, why? She's going to win anyway. Like, I don't like her that much. She's not charismatic. She's not funny. She's not good on TV. She's like kind of a cuck. She's true. She's humorless. She's smart. Like, what's that about? She's like this smart, like, self-respecting woman, sort of, like... She's not just like a smiley bimbo. She's not a sex object, totally. That's not why Bill Clinton married her. I mean, she's not a bad-looking lady when she was younger. I'm sure he was into her. He wasn't the greatest-looking guy in some ways. But, she wasn't like some sex pot. That's not why, like Sarah Palin or something. Or a lot of these conservative bimbos. Who was the chick who was on Real Time? Christy Nome or something? I don't even know. They're all just bimbos. Megyn Kelly. That's what those guys want around. They want a bunch of fucking fake-ass, anorexic, plastic-boobed. Yeah, this is something I was talking about earlier with Clinton, was like, for somebody like me, Bill Clinton was like representation in a way. I think we related as Elvis people. My dad's from Southern Ohio. His family had accents. My grandma on my dad's side has like a really pronounced kind of Southern accent. Like, she sounds fucking country. And they're pretty fucking country people, to be honest. Which is awesome. That's like, it's they have soul, they have spice, they have magic. There's something about those areas, contrary to, their voting record and whatever, their human rights record. There's like a charisma. Clinton had that. He had that Southern kind of like Elvis thing. This kind of like rock and roll, wobbly sex thing. Jiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Clinton had that. Clinton had that wobbling kind of sex twerk. He was the first black president, right? Was a joke a lot of comedians made. I think Chris Rock maybe was the most famous example of that. But, it was a common thing at the time to say Bill Clinton is the first black president. It was like this insightful, meme almost. Before memes. Bill Clinton, first black president. Because he's a G, I guess. Because he's getting a blowjob. He's on Arsenio. He's poor. He's from the South. He connected with black voters because he had Riz. Like Trump, people forget that. Clinton had this charisma. He could connect with people. People remark on it a lot. It's like Bill Clinton made them feel like, that's a special talent. That's a political talent. He wasn't just some fucking, Illuminati CIA plant or something. And the Republicans had the presidency for 12 years. You know, he probably would not have gotten elected if it weren't for Ross Perot. Ross Perot was like a Bernie Sanders kind of. He kind of took the vote from and it was a good thing. You know, it was a good thing. You know, the Democrats, he wasn't as big of a war hawk, you know. There was no Iraq, there was no Afghanistan, there was no fucking 9/11. It was a relatively peaceful time. There's a reason why the 90s were like a peaceful, chill-ass decade. And, you know, anytime these Republicans get in power, it's just like crisis, emergency, terrorism, 9/11, war, wealth transfer to the, you know, they always start with a tax cut. They make sure to rewrite the tax code before they start the war. You know, Trump is a neocon. He's the ultimate neocon. Because now he's just doing what they have wanted to do but haven't had the balls to do. Even Dick Cheney is not as big of a fucking dickhead. So Trump just goes in and causes absolute fucking chaos. And now he's just like, the shit has literally hit the fan. That's how it feels. Feels like Iran is the fan. We threw a bunch of shit at them, and now it's like gonna splatter all over the fucking planet. And who knows where it's gonna land. It's gonna hit a bunch of people in the face. They're not gonna like it. You know, it's gonna hit Turkey in the face. It's gonna hit the Russians in the face. It's gonna hit China in the face. It's gonna hit Europe in the face. It's gonna hit France in the face. Everybody's gonna have shit on their face. Because Donald Trump. And he's gonna make them eat it, probably, because that's what he always does. Everybody just eventually bows to his fucking will in a way that's like completely shocking and kind of tiresome at this point. Like these Republicans, it's no fucking surprise, but they have absolutely no goddamn spine. They have no principles. They totally, you know, they'll disown him as soon as he's done, if he's ever done. I don't think he will be done. I think this is it, folks. I think a bunch of morons in this fucking country voted for something that not even knowing what the hell it was because they're idiots. And that's the end of this fucking country, to be honest. I think it's over. I don't think we'll have another election. God willing, there will be midterms. This James Tallarico guy just won. He's getting a bunch of fucking press. He was on... Well, he was... I initially heard of him because he was the one they were trying to ban from Colbert having on. Trump and the federal government tried to step in, the FCC or whatever, and said you can't have this guy because it breaks fairness doctrine or fairness rules, where it's like, you know, you can't, you have to represent all fucking sides of the political spectrum. Colbert, you're too liberal. You gotta have, you know, some conservatives on. You gotta have, I don't know, Steve Bannon on. Somebody reasonable, you know. You gotta have, Nick Fuentes. Somebody who speaks for the right, you know. Well, even Nick Fuentes is, like, off. That's what's so confusing right now, is, like, Tucker Carlson is sort of... These people are so anti-Semitic. You know, some people are really dug into this narrative, and they just hate that Israel controls the United States. And they really are anti-Semitic. And that is their main thing. Is like, Israel manipulates us, Zionist, blah, blah, blah. And not that they're wrong. You know, it's not all Jewish people. There are plenty of Jewish people who know what's going on and are not on board with it, and are kind people. You know, they're not necessarily like, and it's a religious prophecy. It's like it's Christians and Jews and Muslims. It's all of it. Is it just meant to happen? Is it got to go down this way because of the stupid-ass Bible? Or is that some kind of group manifestation effort where like enough people believe it and want it to happen that maybe it does gain some kind of weight or credence or something, some kind of reality? Because so many people believe in it and want it to happen. Egseth believed. Now it's these powerful people. Who knows if they actually believe it? You know, I think Trump wants to believe that he's like, you know, some kind of chosen one. And maybe he was created to like force all of this horrific shit to happen. People seem to want it. That's why they elected him. Was like, you know, America just needs to suffer through this because of what it's done in its past history, the karma of America, of white patriarchal existence is finally coming home to roost. And Trump, you know, he is the one that like is gonna force things to a head. And if we keep electing these, you know, controlled opposition, Republican light, kind of center-right Democrats like Obama and Hillary and Kamala and Pete Buttigieg, then we're just kicking the can down the road. Our government sucks. Our country's evil. You know, it's the lesser of two evils. It's just the government's dysfunctional. It's not serving us. And so we need to just get the total opposite of that. Trump's not from Washington. He's going to drain the swamp. He's an outsider. He made his own money. He has his own money. He's not like these Washington politicians who are taking corporate money. Trump's not taking bribes. No. That's not why he wants to be the president. He's not doing it to make money. He's already got his own plane. He doesn't need Air Force One or a $400 million jet from Qatar. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need to launder like bribes through his, you know, digital currency. So it's like, yeah, Tucker Carlson is so anti-Semitic. Even he's like, fuck Trump. He was at the inauguration, I think. Nick Fuentes said Trump is like demonic or something. It's like, where was this energy in November 2024? You know, in the last election of our democracy, really, probably. I mean, I don't know. Best case scenario, the guy dies, but then what? Then we're going to be ruled by like his people. That's even worse. You know, it's like once he's useful to them, you know, whoever is really in charge, the council of people who are sort of like drawing, because they had a way more cohesive plan this time going in. They went in and they immediately took action. They weren't taken by surprise and like beating around the bush for the first 4 years, getting to know the job, learning on the job like Trump did the first time. It was basically a 4-year test drive, dress rehearsal. They had 4 years to strategize. They had a break. It was the worst thing that could have happened. They had 4 years at Mar-a-Lago to talk about what they were going to do if they got back, if and when. And if he ran again, they could just steal the election because Elon Musk, Starlink, or whatever the hell. And so Trump will run again and we'll have all of this shit in place. The first year, domestic, boom. Doge, build up ICE, tax cut, arrange kind of the budget for Trump's personal Gestapo military, whatever, stormtroopers of ICE and all of this. Purge the generals and the military. Prepare for year 2. Get rid of the U.S. aid. Year 2, going international. Fucking with the whole planet. upending the whole fucking world order, the World War II order. You know, that's what we're seeing, is that being dismantled and rewritten. And there was, you know, and one of the big reasons why we had that fucking order, because of the bomb, right? I heard somebody say they needed to drop the bomb to put a period on it. Somebody needed to show that it was over, or else it just would have gone on. That was sort of somebody's thinking. I forget where I was reading that, but they put a period on it, and then people realized how horrific it was. And so we formed things like the United Nations, you know, to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons, to maintain a balance of the whatever, so that shit wouldn't happen again. Of the ruling countries, the white people countries, NATO. And now we're right back in this kind of nuclear era where it's like now everybody's going to get a bomb because they have to do it for self-defense, at least in their own, because what's going to stop Trump from, or the United States, rogue leaders? He's gone rogue. So now it's like there is no like agreement. There's no like, hey, you disarm and we will agree to these terms. Now it's just like, fuck, everybody's going to want a nuke. Which is something the arms dealers probably want. This is something that defense contractors probably want. It's capitalism run amok. And it's people losing their senses. People have lost the value of human life, maybe because there's so much of it. Maybe because it's been, like, devalued by fucking digital bullshit. But, maybe they want to kill a shitload of people. You know, that was something that we've been talking about, right? The billionaires don't give a fuck about us. They've all got their private bunkers and shit in Hawaii. Maybe they need some kind of great edit. COVID was just a way to normalize digital life. Things like streaming, Zoom, living your... I mean, we were already living our lives online. There was social media, there was smartphones that were like dominating our lives, but the pandemic just forced us into isolation, literally 6 feet away from everybody. Don't touch anybody. It was unnatural. Shut everything down, put small businesses out of business, inject the economy with all of this fucking money that's going to travel upwards, where it's going to like sort of fortify the people who already have money and prevent anybody. It's like pulling the ladder up. Putting all of that money into the economy just shifted. I mean, we all feel it in our quality of living. You know, the cost of everything. I see these fucking Twitter posts about, oh, you know, what a time to be alive. Remember in New York, even 10 years ago, you could afford an apartment for you could get a room for $500 or $600, and you could have a part-time job and like live this crazy, awesome life.
No, yeah.
You know, buying $4 drinks and living in Crown Heights or whatever. And now everybody pays $1,300 a fucking month and shit. It's like, how I've been talking about this for 10 fucking years. You know, my way of life is like becoming impossible. Maybe everybody feels that way, but like, you know, the way I adjusted to adulthood and try to be an artist and become an artist, you know, the real reason I was able to like become an artist like the way that I wanted to was because I had a fucking room that cost $400 a month, plus a small amount of utilities. You know, I'm able to do these video jobs where you get a higher proportion of money, you get to travel a little bit, you get some nice food, you get to do something fun for a living, get to live a little. You know, I'd work one day a month or something, basically, on average, and I could cover my bills, had a little bit of money to collect books, you know, get some, you know, get Whole Foods salad bar, that was still cheap. Get some health, before Jeff Bezos bought it, you could get a Whole Foods salad bar, it was like $6 or $7. You could get a nice little healthy, you know, plantains, yucca fries, salad, sweet chili sauce. Now it's just like everything extortion everywhere you look. Something has massively changed. And it seems like programmatic. It seems like they really want to bring the United States down. They want to make a lot of money off of it, and they have. By just like robbing everybody through inflation. And charging everybody a ridiculous amount of money because supposedly there's like some building shortage. You know, all you fucking hear about is the reason why apartments are so expensive because there's a housing shortage. It's like, why was there not a housing shortage 10 years ago? What is different? 15 years ago, in Bushwick, you could get a room for $500. Why is there a housing shortage now? Nobody wanted to live there then. There wasn't a housing shortage then. They couldn't even get fucking people to move there. It's like, what the fuck happened that there's a housing shortage? Like, I want to know. Literally, like, what happened? How did it change that much that fast? That has never happened. I just don't buy that answer. Like, maybe there is a housing shortage, and I don't think the answer is like private equity per se, although it is. It's not just because they're buying everything and there's like low supply. I just do not believe that. Like, there's definitely more people alive now and there's like overpopulation, but like it hasn't changed that much in the last fucking decade. That everything is like, what has changed is like now they can quantify what everything is worth and they can transactionalize every fucking thing digitally. And so there's an awareness of how much money you can get for everything now. That's like, that causes once the private equity gets into the market, they drive their prices up and everybody else just follows suit because they can. And we have no fucking choice. I don't even know how people are doing it. I don't think a lot of people are doing it.
Every cupboard.
Maybe the reason Debbie got married is because she never makes money.
It drives me insane. So it's getting less and less possible to just like, or, you know, what was different in the 70s or 80s? Why was it so fucking cheap to get an apartment until like the year 2000 or something? And then all of a sudden it just goes way up. Is that increased world population? Is that, what is that? It's the fucking internet. I mean, I saw it, I could see that apartment, that rent-controlled apartment that I sublet in Chelsea, they had a bunch of the leases. And I think the first lease, the guy was paying like $70 a month or something. Absurd. And to be honest, like, it really didn't go up that much until about like the late 90s. His rent was still only like $180 a month until like the late 90s. And then it started to go, and it was only $600 when I lived there. But it started to go up more. It would go up quicker. The intervals of it going up were shorter, and it would go up more each time, starting like in the late 90s. I mean, that's gentrification, but it's something else. It's credit economy. You know, like there weren't even really credit cards until like the 80s or 90s on a wide, like a lot of what is being purchased in our society is with money that doesn't even exist. And like that distorts how much the market can bear a lot. If I can like use a fucking credit card to buy something that I don't have money for, like they can raise the price of it. Whereas like if I'm paying money that I actually earned, like there's sort of a limit. Not that they've always sold things on credit, or at least like, for 150 years, but something fucking changed. And it's not just like they printed money and there's a shortage. I mean, I guess they did stop building housing after the recession and the crash of 2008 because of Fannie Mac and all that shit. They didn't want to like put out subprime loans or whatever. They didn't want any more toxic loans and shit. Supposedly, and then whatever. Clinton signed some law that anybody could get a fucking house, according to Epstein. Clinton signed some fucking law. And so they gave out loans to people that could not pay them. Like, that's unheard of for somebody like Epstein or Trump. How many times has Trump declared bankruptcy? God forbid somebody get a house they can't afford. So, I mean, but that was houses. Like, what happened? The recession happened and then they just stopped building shit? Like, all I see is a bunch of new ugly shit that they built. Like, it doesn't seem like they're not building anything. It's just like they're building dumb, ugly shit that's like for rich people. It's like just like empty. A lot of these condo buildings that they build, it's like they sat empty for a long time. They're not really functional. Hudson Yards, like who the fuck wants to live there? Other than Paul Schrader, who's in like some kind of old folks home there or something, assisted living. You have to be like you gotta be like Miguel Ferrer, 80s action movie yuppie to want to live in Hudson Yards. Miguel Ferrer. You gotta be living some kind of like super yuppie. Work for Palantir. It's all in RoboCop. I mean, it's all in Paul Verhoeven movies. Verhoeven warned us about all of this shit. Trump, I'm sure Verhoeven modeled a lot of his shit on Trump. Or, he was modeling it on the Nazis, which he saw firsthand. All of those movies that Verhoeven was making in the 80s were like rebooting Nazi shit with like Reagan era, cyber, early computer kind of like aesthetics, post-Tron. And, they're comedies, just like Trump. I'd buy that for $1. You could put Trump into any of those movies and it'd be like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. He might even be better. Why did nobody just cast Trump? Just put him in your movie. Make him the bad guy. Just put Trump in your movie as like the evil bad guy. He would have been great. He probably never would have been president. Somebody should. How is there not one action movie? There's no Steven Seagal movie or. Somebody said Hegseth was like, his writing was like a fucking Steven Seagal movie. His speech writers. They conceive of like military conflict, like it's like everything they know about it they learned from Steven Seagal fucking movies. Under Siege. Operation Under Siege. the new code name for our newest military blunder. Operation Above the Law. Hard Target. I guess that's probably Van Damme. That's Jean-Claude Van Damme. But it's that. I mean, is Hegseth Gen X? He's kind of got a Gen X vibe. So I'm sure he saw a lot of fucking Schwarzenegger movies. He's probably seen the American Ninja movies. Pete Hegseth, have you seen American Ninja 1 through 4? When we were kids, we were obsessed with that shit. The era of Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, Contra. I mean, Contra is still one of the most badass, like, pieces of art ever created. Castlevania, but Contra, looking back now, it's like that was just like a fucking, that was propaganda. It was complete war propaganda. They get this one guy looks like fucking Patrick Swayze, and this other guy looks like fucking, or one of them looks like Rambo, and one of them looks like fucking Commando. And it's basically like a Predator video game in a certain way. But Contra is like from Iran-Contra. Even as a little kid, like, what else could it mean? Contra, it's some kind of Reagan propaganda. Those games all started with FBI warnings. J. Edgar Hoover's FBI. Here's like the first thing you fucking see is like the seal from the FBI. Okay. I just saw John Fugelsang. For some reason, I was walking down Columbus. I was down by 106th. And walk into the bodega. I'm like, that's fucking John Fugelsang. Now, for those who don't know, John Fugelsang is, he was on VH1. He was a fucking host. I think he hosted a show with Daisy Fuentes. But like late 90s, early 2000s, you know, boomer era, VH1. When I was a kid, we were prisoners of that shit. I liked VH1 probably more than MTV because they showed, you know, they showed good music, really, occasionally. It was more like classic rock stuff, 80s stuff, the big 80s. Pop-up video was great. VH1 Storytellers. Behind the Music, that was a VH1 show. We watched all of that shit. There was nothing. I mean, we watched MTV too, but MTV was a little too youth. You know, I didn't really actually like a lot of that shit. In the late 90s, I mean, the early 90s were good. MTV was actually pretty dope until about 97 or something. Clinton signed some Telecommunications Act or something that really changed culture. So I guess that's another thing we can blame Bill Clinton for. But late 90s MTV became more like, once Puff Daddy showed up, that sort of was the end of MTV as far as I'm concerned. It became just new metal, rap rock was like a big thing one year. Aerosmith and Run DMC played the VMAs. I think that's before, I don't know if they had the term rap metal at that point, or new metal. It was more like rap rock or something. You know, when Kid Rock came out and Limp Bizkit and that stuff, it was sort of like, oh, this is like rock and roll and rap put together. It wasn't like, oh, this is rap metal. I don't think. Metal wasn't really that mainstream at that point. It was still kind of like an aggressive kind of like subculture-ish. You know, MTV had metal on, and it was sort of a big part of it. So yeah, I saw John Fugelsang. He was on VH1. And he's a big liberal. I don't know if he was on Air America Radio, but he's like a big liberal commentator, and he's super fucking smart. I used to follow him on Twitter, and he's on TikTok. You know, he pops up on TikToks from time to time, and he's just super fucking sharp guy. He's always got a really, like smart argument that's also like taking the high ground. He's a Christian. He's like, so his stuff is like, but he's left, he's like a, I guess you'd say he's a democratic socialist, probably. He's part of that coalition, but like his faith and shit is important to him. That's something you've been seeing more. Colbert's like that, like being a Catholic is a really big thing to him. And James Tallarico, this guy that just won in Texas, he's super religious, even though he's a Democrat. So it's like, I don't know, it's a way of, it gives center people or like Trump people something to hold on to, I guess. I don't know why that's becoming increasingly, it makes sense, that the liberals would be the compassionate religious people rather than a bunch of fucking neocon like apocalypse instigators, apocalypse fluffers. But this is something they have been prepping for a long time. I think they all realize Trump is going to be their best shot. They're not going to get this opportunity. And so the stars are kind of aligning in a scary way. I don't know what that'll mean to us here in the United States. Iran supposedly has these fucking sleeper cells, or I mean, there's like I said, 300 million fucking people who are followers of this supreme commander guy, who are religious extremists, just like the fucking psychos here. Christian, Jew, whatever they are. It's religious, extremists that are bringing us into this. Or maybe they're not, I mean, they just believe it. Does that make them extremists? They believe the word to like the letter. I mean, that's literally what these like Talmud scholars are doing. They're on the subway like reading the fucking Talmud like over and over and over again. Studying it. These Christian conservatives, it's hard to tell sometimes. Do they really give a fuck about Jesus? They really don't follow the rules. There's 10 commandments. They're pretty specific. Trump, not really the most, the greatest commandment obeyer, I would say. I mean, not to cast the first stone or anything. Oh, it's just too nice. I mean, I got to get on and talk about this. Maybe I won't. There's just too much. There's so much to fucking go into, and let me check my notes real fast. Just see if there's any big things I haven't gotten to yet. I mean, thanks for watching, whoever was watching. Adam S. probably. I think I'm shadow banned or something. I mean, I guess I should talk more about the Bill and Hillary testimony. I'm glad they released it. I did, yeah, okay. I did mention that the other day. It's like, why don't we get to see it? Trump started the war literally right after they testified. The same day, I think. That's kind of interesting timing. Same day the Clintons testified. But, well, part of what is frustrating about the internet is people take these short clips and try to deduce some kind of like factual truth. Like, okay, like this Jim Carrey thing, right? There's all these fucking people on Twitter that are convinced that Jim Carrey has been like cloned and like replaced by this guy that doesn't look anything like, that's not Jim Carrey. Look at him. Look at his eyes, and he's all puffy and shit. His eyes aren't the same color. Like, that's not Jim Carrey, man. They cloned him. Well, okay. So this is another subgenre that's really annoying to me, is like, there's this clip of Jim Carrey, or there's like a few different clips, but there's one specifically of him on Jimmy Kimmel, where he's talking like in extremely vague terms about, you know, how none of this is real and blah, blah, blah. I don't remember exactly what the fuck he said, but like, it's pretty just broad, generic shit. It's almost like new agey. Like, life isn't real, man. It's all just an illusion, and like, you manifest your destiny, man. You're manifesting all of it. Maybe we are. I don't know. Is Trump president because I'm unhappy, or am I unhappy because Trump is president? Am I manifesting Trump by dwelling on politics? Because I have nothing else in my life but Twitter and social media and live streaming to fucking no fucking audience. I'm gonna clip the fuck out of this. At this point, it doesn't even matter, because this is gonna make like good clips. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I will get 10 clips out of this or something, and the stream the other day. And so those will get a certain number of views, those will get a certain number of likes, certain number of followers. You know, and so this is a good play. There's a guy streaming. Ooh, somebody's singing. See? And so, you know, it's just important to talk about all this. I mean, Jesus Christ. We're all responsible for our own media and journalism, and like I said, there's so much fucking disinformation. People think Jim Carrey's been cloned. Is that real? Is that fake? I don't know. But there seems to be a bunch of people on fucking Twitter that think Jim Carrey went on Jimmy Kimmel and like exposed the Illuminati because he's Jim Carrey and he's like our, you know, spiritual leader or something, as like 90s kids who can't take anything seriously. Jim Carrey's like the guru. He's a Svengali. So what did they do with Jim Carrey? And so people see like these fucking these short clips, and they deduce like these huge conclusions from like the body language. Like there's this clip of Clinton looking at a picture in the Epstein. There's a moment where they show him some fucking picture from the files or something, and like ask him like what he knows about it, and he sort of looks at it and like smiles, and he's like kind of laughing. And so there's all these fucking people on Twitter that are like, oh man, bro's like reminiscing. Like bro's like, I forgot about that, and like oh shit, wasn't that a time? Look, Clinton's like laughing and shit about and it's like, you know, first of all, it's taken out of context. Second of all, it's like, that's his demeanor through a lot of this testimony. You know, the fucking actual video is like almost 5 hours long. Like I couldn't even watch it. I kind of just saw clips of it. The Hillary testimony's 5 hours. The Les Wexner testimony's 5 hours. Bill Clinton testimony's 5 hours. It's the first time a living ex-president has ever been called to testify. And he did it. You know, he didn't try to fucking get out of it. He didn't, skip contempt of court. Like, he went and he fucking answered the goddamn questions. And the Clintons are fucking lawyers. They went to the Yale Law School once again. Like, there's a reason why they got elected and shit. Because the dude is, that shit used to matter. When we changed into an oligarchy, like, it's all just nepotism now. It's all just like, buy your way in. Trump, fucking Elon Musk spent $150 million or whatever, bought the presidency. Like, that wasn't really how it worked before Citizens United and, like, I don't know, just like the death of upward mobility in this country. It's like, now you can't get rich unless you fucking already are rich. Well, I was listening to this fucking Jim Cornette podcast before, and he was talking about, they were talking about AEW because whatever, this Warner Brothers deal is going to affect, they own AEW or something, which is like, I don't watch AEW, but it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like the TNA of today, or I don't know if TNA is still around, but it's like another wrestling, smaller, but there's this guy, Tony Khan. I see clips of it. It's good that it exists. I don't necessarily love the aesthetic of it per se. It's kind of generic, but it's kind of dark. Darby Allin, it's all just kind of dark, but supposedly it's going to affect their business because this merger, because they're owned or their show is on AMC or something. And this guy Tony Khan is the whole reason that this fucking AEW thing like even exists, because he was like already a millionaire. He was already wealthy. He's a rich kid. His parents were rich. There used to be inheritance tax. It wasn't necessarily just like generational wealth was everything like it is now. That's why everybody's a fucking Nepo baby. Because it all just gets fucking passed down now. The tax laws changed. Reagan rewrote the tax laws. They all rewrote the tax laws. Bush. For this very purpose. And so you got to be Tony Khan, who already has tens or hundreds of millions of dollars from his fucking parents, to start a wrestling fucking thing. That's like gonna be able to compete significantly or something, product-wise, in the bigger leagues. So, I don't know. That's just the world we live in. It's Trump's world. The United States is allied with Saudis, Israelis. Is that it? Who else is in the fucking coalition that's on board with this? With this, like, we jumped them, basically. This is, like, completely just, like, a surprise attack. Okay, done 100 minutes. I'll do 2 hours at least. I mean, there's definitely still more to talk about. But, I'll probably jump on tomorrow, maybe, because it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. I'm going to be clipping all this stuff, so this is really my recording sessions for my next round of shorts. And, just trying to read the fucking, I found this tarot card on Monday. See, I hate that mirror image at the open mic. It was on the floor or something at the end of the night. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good. Stop. It's showtime, folks. So what can we do? I mean, resist. What happened to the fucking resistance? Where's the goddamn protests? Where's the fucking general strikes? Where's the people? I mean, everybody got fired from their jobs. AI is going to take everybody's jobs. And so the strikes will be meaningless. The general strike will be meaningless. And so unless there's really an uprising, I just don't see how the United States military is not going to be overtaxed. It already seems like it is. So it's like our military budget is so ridiculously huge and we have nothing to show for it. We've got all these old fucking equipment. It's like we've got erectile dysfunction or something. We took the Cialis and then like prematurely ejaculated. It's like, wait a minute, time out. We need a little break. We went and we killed everybody, but we can't sustain a longer thing. We didn't want a longer thing. We thought this was going to be over real fast. We got to move on to the next storyline. And I guess they're not behaving like we anticipated. These countries generally just kind of go down. We just kind of like put them to sleep because there's more planning. I don't know. The Iraq thing was kind of like this. I feel like we're like Bush won, did Iraq, and then they lost the election, so they had time to think about it. Just like Trump had time to think about it. He had a few years off. He had that 4 years from 20 to 24, 21 to 24, where like he had a little bit of a break. They could gather, they could make a plan for exactly what they're doing. That's kind of what happened with Bush. Bush, one term, they sort of had a war, but it really didn't do what they didn't get Saddam. They didn't just kill him in the middle of the night. Why didn't they just do that? Why didn't Bush just do what Trump did and just kill Saddam Hussein like in the middle of the fucking night? What a pussy. He was the head of the CIA. It's not like they hadn't done it before. And to some degree, this is like a CIA operation, just going in and overthrowing their whole government secretly in the middle of the night. That's more like some black ops thing. I'm just so sick of hearing about the fucking CIA and like, it's like Zionism. It's just like some word that everybody fucking uses. They're like, these are the bad guys. These are the guys that are responsible for everything. See, the CIA was involved. It's like, yeah, I'm sure the CIA did some bad shit. A lot of it. It's like, they're almost just like a scapegoat, or just like in the imagination. It's just like a word that means like any kind of shadowy conspiracy thing. It's like, oh, it was the fucking CIA. And we know they did certain things. But it doesn't seem like the CIA has quite the power that it had. I mean, anytime I hear somebody who worked for the CIA, or there's podcasts with guys that like are former CIA guys, it's like they're always just kind of dumbasses. They're like tech guys or something. They're like, I don't know. Somehow they got these like very high profile jobs, but it's like, their fucking fashion sense is whack. Their fucking personal grooming is whack. They just are kind of bros. They're not really like some kind of like James Bond like operative guys. They look like fucking surfers. They look like they should be like in Santa Cruz, California or something. Except like ex-military. Here we are. Talking about World War III. It has begun, everybody. It's spring. We need a war. Beginning of March. That's when you start a war. Right before the midterms. It's what they did in 22 with Ukraine. It's what they're doing now. So, the anti-war people, how are they gonna how are they going to live with themselves? They bought so heavily into this idea that Trump was going to stop all the fucking wars, and he was anti-war, and we weren't going to have another war in the Middle East where, you know, we got into some kind of long drawn out money pit. That's all anybody really cares about. Is like, you know how many trillions of dollars we spent in Afghanistan? It's like, well, fuck the soldiers. Fuck, you know, the entire generation of people sort of traumatized by it. It's like, it was trillions of dollars. It was 20 years. 20 fucking years. It took for, you know, I think that's also a result of people's you know, the sense that time is not passing. You know, the sense that, like, this decade looks just like 25 years ago. 9/11 was 25 years ago. That is fucking nuts to me. And it doesn't feel that way because it feels like we've been in this weird kind of like time like loop where, because we're on fucking screens all day, because we're like experiencing whatever the hell we want, and I don't know, like, everything just looks like reality and has for, you know, HD television's been around for 20 years. So everything has been looking like this basically for 20 years. It's not like the technology has advanced significantly. I mean, there are things that are different, like now we have drones, now we have gimbals, and there's influencer content and shit like that, but like, you know, the 70s, you can almost tell what year a movie was made just by the film stock. You know, you can tell a movie from 1967 looks a lot different than a year from 1966 even. It'd be a lot harder to do that with, and so we had a war for 20 fucking years and nobody even noticed. Nobody ages. All the millennials look like they're 25 until they're 50 or something. Everybody looks like Paul Rudd. Everybody ages like Paul Rudd. And so, you know, they had everybody in some kind of like traumatic stupor after 9/11. It took a long time. And then those wars were just kind of in the background. They weren't really... No one was anti-war. You know, John McCain was not coming out and saying, you know, fuck George Bush and his illegal war in Iraq. He didn't run on that platform. Neither did Mitt Romney. Somehow it became a Republican position, even though the Republicans started these fucking wars. That is how fucking stupid their voters are and how much they lie. All they do is project and appropriate. You know, they project what their crimes onto the left and they steal the left's ideas, basically. And so, of course they were against the Iraq war. They're like Bernie. Trump is like Bernie. You know, they're like the same voters, basically. If you didn't vote for, you know, if you know, the Democrats fucked Bernie, so it's like you got to vote for Trump. Because it's like he's more like Bernie than Hillary is. They're both outsiders. The establishment doesn't want these people. They're too much of a threat to the CIA. And the deep state. Frazzle drip. You guys know about frazzle drip? I mean, Jesus Christ. They asked her about it. The woman who questioned Hillary was like very confrontational and really like a bitch. You could tell she was some Republican who'd been chomping at the bit. Like, all these people, they've used Hillary as their prime punching bag since the 90s at least. I don't know how the Clintons live with it, to be honest. How they live with just like, all people do is shit on Hillary Clinton forever. And so this woman feels very justified in being like really snippy and like bitchy toward Hillary about all, you know, confronting her with all this shit. And Hillary just ain't playing that. You know, at one point, like, they take a picture of her to, like, put on fucking social media, and Hillary's like, oh, hell no. You told me none of this was going to be, like, online, so you got to take that down. So it's like, People like that side of Hillary because it's like that's her power. That's where she's authentic. She's a cunt. You know, she's a Karen. She's a lawyer. She's a good lawyer. She would have been a good president, actually. People are seeing these clips and being like, fuck, Hillary would have been a good president. She would have done that for us, you know? There's thinking behind these policies. You know, it's not just like completely corporate greed and fucking... The Clintons were trying to raise people up a little bit, is what I felt like when I was a kid. Maybe it's just because we identified with him. We were hillbillies. He was a hillbilly president. And so we felt like represented. It felt like a good time for poor hillbillies. And so, you know, I don't really think Clinton is what they say he is at all. I think they've been trying to slime him for a long, long fucking time. And they probably crippled whatever progress the Clintons would have liked to have made. Just like they did with Obama. You know, Newt Gingrich and those cocksuckers were probably not that different than Mitch McConnell. And so they probably hamstrung whatever Clinton wanted to do. He probably wanted to do health care. I think they tried it. I think his first term he tried to do health care, and the Republicans just, once the contract with America happened, it was just like, that was not going to happen. But people don't remember any of that shit. They just see the bills that he signed and go, okay, well, it's his fucking fault. I'd like to hear what he has to say about NAFTA and shit like that. Some of the things he's signed, I'd like to hear his side of it, which you don't really... Like I said, you never see Clinton in the media ever. He's like this walking ghost. And so to see the Clintons in their power, which is like being cross-examined, they're used to it. They've done it before. Clinton's done it before. He's testified. He's a lawyer. They went to goddamn Oxford and Yale and shit. Like, they're smart. They're not like Trump. They're not just like brutes. Trump was totally exonerated. That's the funniest thing that he says about the Epstein files is like, I've been totally exonerated. So I can talk about it. It's good that because I've been totally exonerated, so I can talk about it. I've been proven not guilty about the Epstein files. I've been totally exonerated. Like, Trump is more like, he's legally savvy too, but only so he can break the rules. Like, he knows a lot of the legalese, like the Clintons do, but see, the Clintons are trying to stop people like the Trumps. And now that Trump's in power, there's nobody to do that. It's like there can be media monopolies. There can be huge mergers. The rich can get richer, and they can just fire everybody. And what the fuck are we going to do about this AI shit, everybody? I mean, even rich people are going to lose their jobs. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the poor people club. I've been down here, okay? I never had a job. I don't know. I don't know what's going to change for, you know, it's like I've never, you know, like these people are like, oh man, back in the day in New York City, you could live like a king on $50,000 a year, right? Whereas like now it's like it's hard to even live here with $100,000 a year. It's like that's not, $250,000 is the new $100,000. It's like I never made anywhere close to any of that fucking money. The most I ever made in 1 year was like $27,000. And I was like bawling. It was insane. But things are going to get worse before they get better. Which is what they want. You know, they want to collapse this country, steal all the fucking money, and kill us all, I guess. Send Eric, send Donald Jr., send Ivanka, send Jared Kushner, okay? Draft Donald Jr. I want to see Donald. He likes killing endangered species so much. Tell him to take his fucking elephant gun to goddamn Tehran. Let's put him on the front fucking lines. Donnie Jr. It's your time to shine, buddy. Get your gun, get your gun. Donnie, get your gun, get your gun. Donnie Jr., you fucking scum. Eric, get in there, buddy. Grab a fucking AR-15. Grab a whatever they've got. Now they've got some kind of like universal soldier with all these body cams and body armor, and they're walking around like fucking RoboCop. Boots on the ground. What do you think? You want to bet? Let's bet on it. I'm gonna put all of the money I have, which will probably be worthless within a couple years. I mean, we saw this coming. Everything Trump has ever touched went bankrupt. We have talked about this and talked about this beyond the point of it being effective. People have never listened. He got elected twice, supposedly. And it is completely predictable that he's going to crash the economy. He's going to kill a lot of people. He will probably drop a nuclear weapon. I think there will be some kind of major fucking nuke that will happen somewhere. That's the only way this is going to stop, I think. If it does, we'll be lucky if there's not a chain reaction. We'll be lucky if there's not mutual assured destruction, I would say. Because there's no way that guy's not going to try to drop a nuke. You know he wants to drop a nuke. You know he wants to do that. It's just out of morbid curiosity. It's who he is. You know he fucking wants to do that. He wants to throw rocks at babies. And he'll do whatever the hell he wants. He's proven that time and again. And so if he wants to do it, he will do it. He won't even think it through. It's just a gut thing. He's like Bush, right? It's all truthiness. It's just his gut. He goes by his gut. Whatever God tells him. You know? He's divinely chosen to drop nuclear weapons. And so I would say, you know, worst case scenario, he causes some part of the planet to be like plunged into like inhabitability because of some kind of major nuclear. Like what are they going to do to Persia? What they did to Gaza? It's the same fucking people. It's the same fucking plan. They're going for broke. Both of them, Netanyahu and Trump, are kind of on their, it's make or break for them. What have they got to lose? Nothing. And so this is it, as Michael Jackson would say. This is it, folks. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. And he'll do something impulsive. He'll do something completely on his own. He always has. And now there's no one to check him. He'll do it in the middle of the night. There'll be no consequences. You know, if our government was functioning according to the fucking rule book, go back and read the directions again. Okay? I'm sorry. Everybody in Congress. Everybody in the Supreme Court. Go back and read the directions. Go back and read the Constitution. Like, president's not allowed to do this. Doesn't matter how they try to spin it. You know, there was no vote. There was no nothing. No forewarning, really. Well, because they didn't want to give the war plans away. It would be pretty dumb, right? To tell everybody they're going to do it. We didn't want everybody to know. That's what Hegseth says. The guy who fucking was texting war plans in the Signal chat. Like, he gives a shit. He's on AIM texting the nuclear codes. He put it as a away message. He's got a link to the nuclear arsenal on his away message. We don't want people to know our plans. We're playing fucking... We're playing Sid Meier's Civilization here. Populace. So it's in God's hands now, everybody. The die has been cast. This is like a crucial moment in world history, I would say. I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gun. I tend to jump the gun a little bit on these things. Like last summer, my poem that I read last summer at Neuronautic, which no one came to, by the way. Thanks a lot, everybody. I read this poem because that was the first time Trump bombed Iran. So I had a thing in my poem about it, how Israel drags us into World War III. I was just 6 months early. But this is already escalating. You know, the Iranian people, the soul of the nation, they're cantankerous. They're, you know, they're not gonna lie down. You know, they're fighters, absolutely. Look at the fucking war between Iran and Iraq. There was a land war between Iran and Iraq, I think, in the 80s. A lot of fucking people died. It was brutal. And, you know, they're not going to lie down. And they're going to they're smart, they're tactical. You know, they're one of the most sophisticated civilizations on the fucking planet. And so, best case scenario, this war is incredibly unpopular. They make Trump look as bad as they possibly can. It gets out of hand and he, you know, ideally Congress would step in and do something and remove the guy from office. That's what they should do. He's broken the law. I mean, you can play semantics about like, oh, it's not a war, or, you know, he didn't really start a war by himself. He just kind of dropped some bombs. He just kind of killed some people. Like, that's not really a war. That was sort of like just a, you know, like a tactical operation. It was a kind of a small strategic maintenance. That was a routine maintenance. I mean, I called it. I fucking, you know, I had a clip that I put on Instagram where February 19th I was talking about, they will say this is like a preventative measure. They have to do this to stop. Iran has a nuclear weapon and they're going to use it on us. So we got to go in there and kill all of them. It's like, if it wasn't so fucked up, it's so fucking funny, isn't it? The Board of Peace, ha ha ha. Board of Peace. That's gonna be something they're gonna be talking about in textbooks. If they have textbooks. I mean, they won't have textbooks. Kids will just, like, I don't know, have it uploaded to their chip or whatever. They'll be talking about the goddamn Board of Peace. Which is like the 6-star Diamond Award from the whatever that fucking fake Quality Meats. Board of Peace, everybody. I'm on the Board of Peace. I vote nuke the bastards. In order to maintain peace, we have to level their whole country and turn it into a golf course. Make it a Trump national. Let's put some Trump hotels up. Some Trump ski resorts. They've got a nice little piece of land there. Give it to Putin or something. And then like Russia and China are their allies, so it's like, how the fuck do they feel about Trump just sort of doing this right in the face of them? You know, it's going to provoke them, it's going to antagonize them. You know, China at least seems to be mature. They don't really, they strategize about this stuff. They don't just get rage baited into fucking direct confrontation. But you know, these nuclear weapons are like no fucking joke, and there's a reason why the whole fucking system was built basically on preventing them from being used again. That was what the whole post-war order was about. It was like, let's get as close as we can to like non-proliferation. Yeah, some countries had them. Israel has one. India, Pakistan. You know, what is it? There's like 8 countries or something, 7 countries that have nukes. It's like, that's not that bad. You know, let's try to keep it that way. I mean, that is like a first world problem, I guess, but here we are, back in Midtown again, everybody. Oh, I gotta get food. I'm gonna eat a fucking Chipotle burrito, maybe. I am gonna get off pretty soon, but I'll walk down to Rockefeller Center. We'll walk down to Rockefeller, and then I will get off. But you know, we're monitoring this situation live, and we might just need to go. This is breaking news. I mean, this is like, you know, this is a big problem. You know, this is probably, every war that we fought since World War II was sort of like voluntary or something. You know, like Vietnam, even Korea, I guess. A little bit. Maybe they're all voluntary, but Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, it felt like they were within our control. They were these little, almost like practice, keep the military busy, you know, to build up that military industrial complex, to keep that money factory growing, late stage cap, you know. And this feels like something that's how they perceived of it, because that's how every war has been. America can just go wherever the fuck we want and fuck with these small countries, and they can't do shit because, you know, our military is just so much more advanced. And I think we're finding out quickly that's not the case. And we've been drawn into this thing that like is actually out of control. You know, Trump dismantled all of these relationships that kept things stable, for better or for worse, NATO alliance, and just the attitudes we have toward Russia or China or whatever. He knocked those all out of place. Hostility toward Canada, hostility toward Greenland, our allies in Europe, our allies in the NATO alliance, aggravating the stability of that. Meanwhile, forming these partnerships with Saudi Arabia, he's done a lot of fucking business over there, right? He's always going over there. He likes them. He gets along with them. They're corrupt like he is. They're these big fucking royal families that are really wealthy, that just live in like opulence. I think Trump he's always been rich. He always thinks he deserves it. He thinks he should live this way. Certain people are winners, certain people are losers. And you want to be a winner at all costs. Cheat, fuck people over, kill people, whatever you have to do. And Those people have gotten more and more of our society, the pie of our society. The rest of us have nothing. We have no power. You know, Larry Ellison can just buy the entire fucking media to stop people from criticizing Israel. To stop Gen Z from thinking it's cool to be pro-Hamas. You know, what did they say? The Saudi prince, the guy who tortured Khashoggi, right? Isn't it the same guy? He was the one that sort of nudged Trump. He was the one that said, yeah, you should do this. Like, we should just take this fucking guy out. And Vince McMahon, right? That's another weird thing with like wrestling, like that one of their in PGA too, right? They've got this LIV tour, which is like in Saudi Arabia. WWF has a couple events a year. They're in Riyadh, and the Riyadh Comedy Festival, right? That was another big controversial thing. It was like, I just saw this video of Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. He was at some Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony, and somebody heckled him about taking money for his Riyadh Comedy Festival. And he was like, I bought a house with that money. It's like, okay, pal. No one has any fucking morals anymore. Just go to Saudi Arabia, take the money, look the other way. They torture fucking journalists with a chainsaw. Trump likes that. He likes allies that, you know, will let him get away with that kind of shit. He's into that. He's like them. Okay, where the hell? I made something way around here the other day. So yeah, I mean, there's constantly things where like people are reading into body language or videos, like, oh, Clinton's smiling about these Epstein photos. Oh yeah, he's getting a kick out of this because it's like bringing memories that he forgot about, like his salad days as a fucking child, whatever, abuser. It's like, I don't really, you know, that's a big conclusion to make from a fucking clip that's taken out of context. And someday you'll see me live streaming from Radio City. I promise you. I promise you. Someday we'll be doing open mic at Radio City as well. I promise you. I'm manifesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna walk into Rockefeller Center. And then I'm gonna turn it off when I get in there. Look, you got Fox News over here, you got NBC right here. It's like, these are they're right across the street from each other. You know, you got the so-called conservatives on one side of the street, and the so-called, you know, MSDNC on the other side of the street. It's like they're all going to lunch in the same fucking places. And you're not, and you're not. You're in fucking Tennessee eating goddamn bowl slop. See, isn't that so annoying that that's backwards? I just hate that that's reversed. Okay.
How does he know these people?
Rockefeller Center. This is my new thing, so I just come down to Rockefeller Center and write. I write because there's like some tables in Rockefeller Center, so it's like I pretend like I work here. This is my new like workspace. I come down and just write my poetry monologues, you know. So yeah, we did Lou Reed Monday. I encourage people to go watch. It was nice. It was rowdy, man. It was rowdy in a fun way. That theater was really pretty rocking. And I did kind of I played karaoke tracks, but I also played guitar at the beginning. So I did, I think, 6 Lou Reed songs. I tried to spread it out, you know, over his career, represent as many things as I could. And pick things that were like familiar hits, but also like not stuff that other people probably were gonna do if they were gonna do something. Like I did Sweet Jane, of course, because you just have to. I started with Sweet Jane. That's his Like a Rolling Stone. It's just like it's just like the magnum opus. Even though, I mean, going through this, like Lou Reed does have a lot of great fucking songs. It is hard to like narrow it down. And he, you know, from his whole life, he was always doing good stuff. All of his albums are interesting. A lot of his songs are deeper than you like. Doing that song I did Power of Positive Drinking, which you know, is kind of a throwaway in some ways, but it's deeper than it has to be. It's kind of a silly song. And it's like a pro-alcohol song. So I wanted to represent that. I mean, anytime at the open mic I can do something that's like pro-alcohol, I try, without pushing it too far, because it's a 2-drink minimum. And like, I just want people to have a good time, and like live, that can help the audience if they're drunk. And that theater, like that's one advantage of doing it down there. It's like we can be loud. And so it's like I had the karaoke track and I was playing from the Cyber Deluxe. And the karaoke track, I don't know. I kind of wish I had done a couple of the songs without it. Like I did I'll Be Your Mirror, which is one of my favorites. But it was in a different key. I normally do it in D, and the karaoke is in G. And so it was kind of weird. It wasn't really in my range. I didn't know what register to do it in. And it was, you know, there was a good, I mean, I was a little overwhelmed because I don't necessarily know that there was any more people there than usual, but it felt like wild. You know, the theater was pretty packed. It wasn't necessarily like standing room only or anything, but like there was probably as many people as have been there. You know, 60 people or something. And I'll just post up right here for a sec. And so I did rehearse a little bit at home beforehand, but not that much. And then you get up in front of people and it's just like, Jesus Christ, all bets are off. Whatever you prepared, you get nervous, you forget shit, you lose the timings off, or, you know, for some reason, singing in a big room full of people, your voice just sounds totally different. So whatever you rehearsed at home suddenly sounds completely different. And so a lot of times I'm like adjusting, oh, should I sing in my higher register? Or like with Lou Reed, it's like you can kind of do it all in like a low register, but that's going to be in my stream now. You're going to have Jefferson Starship. We're right in front of 30 Rock, everybody. That's 30 Rock right there, talking about the apocalypse. NBC was complicit. They played their part. Jimmy Fallon, blood is on your hands. It's that SNL, blood is on your hands. For normalizing it. Lauren Michaels, blood is on your hands. You're part of the Zionist Armageddon conspiracy. Through your middle brow entertainment. This is a pretty nice view right here. See, that's all pretty cool. I mean, I like Rockefeller Center. I don't know. It's just kind of a, once again, it represents an American idealism. I think it's quickly waning. Or it's like, I don't know, how do you tap into that again? I don't know. The architecture of it, the thing it represents, feels like the better part of America or something, I don't know. Or one of the better parts of capital. It's Rockefeller Center, so it's capitalism. But, you know, it's broadcasting, it's center left. It's international. You know, NBC was liberal. So here we are, I mean, people are streaming everywhere. I saw, there was an article about, there were people streaming from Savannah Guthrie's mom's, or whoever the woman was kidnapped. Savannah Guthrie or whoever it was, her mom was kidnapped. So there were like these streamers that were like streaming from her mom's house, who were like these goth, you know, like, it's like, what the fuck are they doing there? People be streaming, man. They're everywhere. Streaming is... The meta glasses, more and more fucking people have the meta glasses, so they're just like recording people without them knowing it or without their consent. It's a golden era for like stunting, you know, and doing pranks in public and monetizing it on the internet. The thing that really helps with the clip farming is the subtitles. You know, pretty much every stream, not long after it's live, it'll spit out like, you can see the whole text. There's a thing on the YouTube on your phone where it's like, literally it's got your whole text underneath the video and it's like timed out and everything. So, you know, honestly, when I'm editing video, a lot of times I'm editing by the text more than the picture. I mean, particularly with the clip farming, it's like, it's really just treating the video like it's a text. You know, that's why I put the subtitles in. It's like I wanted to function as both. Like when I put a poem in YouTube Shorts, there are fucking subtitles so you can read it. So ideally, you're like reading it and hearing it at the same time. Like an automated reading. It's still reading, but you're hearing it, so you're maybe understanding it more because you're getting both kinds of information. And here we go. We're at McNally Jackson. Look, there it is. What might have been Kamala Harris, 107 days. Well, maybe if she didn't support genocide, you know, maybe then we wouldn't be in this mess. She would have done the same thing. You know, if Kamala was president, we'd be in Iran right now, everybody. We would have killed she would have killed all of them. Kamala probably would have done more. She probably would have genocided their children. It wouldn't have just been the leaders. It wouldn't have just been the supreme commander. She would have genocided everybody. I mean, that's what she does. She's a genocider. She's Kamala. She's genocide Kamala. Way worse than peacenik Trump, the hippie, who hates war, famously. He famously hates war and violence. The guy who said, you know, he'd shoot somebody at Fifth Avenue definitely hates violence. Just checking out does anybody read anymore? In the comments, let me know. You're watching YouTube, you can't read at work, you know? At least not most jobs anymore. You can, however, listen to my wonderful fucking live stream. You know, so, and you get an eye into New York. I've been fucking shadow banned as fuck because I don't want my fucking extremely truthful, accurate prophecies about Armageddon to be widely, you know, known among the general population. They want people to be watching Rogan and all of the useful idiots, Andrew Schultz, all the dumbass stand-up comedians. And I do want to go on the record as saying, like, I respect the stand-up comedians in New York. I know I talk a lot of shit about bad stand-up comedians, but I'm not talking really about anybody that I personally know. Like, I don't want people to feel, if there's any stand-up comedians out there watching this or ever watch this, tell your friends. Because word does get around, but, like, I don't, like, personally think what they're doing is, like, bad. I mean, some of them. I don't necessarily like the guys that, you know, are talking about having sex with their cousins or whatever. That's a little weird. Or whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. But, you know I talk a lot of shit about bad stand-up comedians, but I don't really mean that, like, I respect that these people are making art, and, like, I honestly do think that people take stand-up comedy really seriously as an art form, and it doesn't always add up to, like, better art or even, like, funnier shit. In fact, it's probably the opposite. It's like improv. Like, people take it too seriously, and it's too inside baseball. It's like, it's not actually funny anymore. It's just like a bunch of, like, moves. You know, it's like, oh, that's like a good comedy move. Like, oh yeah, like, people know too much about it. Normies. They're not actually getting anything out of it. You know, they're not actually learning anything. They're just, like, hearing a bunch of fucking jokes and judging whether they're good or not. But it's like, how many stand-up comedy bits have there been in the last 10 or 15 years that, like, changed the way that people thought? Because they used to do that a little bit. And if there are, it's probably a fucking George Carlin bit. You know, you constantly hear that George Carlin thing about, it's a big party and you ain't in it. I constantly hear people cite that. And they should. I think this is exactly what I did last time. I ended up, like, streaming from this exact location, like, for, like, 20 minutes last time. I'm a creature of habit. I don't know why. Like a cat. It's like I have to do the same thing. Or it's just like that's where it takes me, you know? I don't really want to veer off that. Or, like, I didn't even plan this. It just happened this way. You know, I like Rockefeller Center. I like stopping in it. McNally Jackson, just sort of peeking, just to see what's going on. It's a way to check in. You know, bookstores are a really cool way to, like, just check in. It's like what's going on in literature. Even if, you know, I never actually get to read anything. Or maybe I'll go to the library. Is it Wednesday? Yeah. Fuck. Maybe I will go to the library. Okay, so I'll get off pretty soon and go to the library. Was there one last thing I needed to say? Thank you for watching. I've got 2 viewers. I'm gonna be doing more because there's just more to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I really got to any of the fucking shit I really wanted to say today. Because now I'm a little bit self-conscious about clip farming. I know I gotta get good moments. I gotta get engagement. I need to get likes. I need truth nukes. Trying to get some truth nukes out there, so because now it's on. I don't know what is this going to be. You know, is this going to be mass ground? You know, I mean, think about how many troops Russia has lost. How many people have died in Russia and Ukraine? Like, it's like over 1 million combined. You know, not necessarily one side. I don't even know. Who knows what the actual numbers are? I don't. But it's, you know, it's hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million people. That's a lot. Like, Iraq and Afghanistan were not like that. I mean, they lost a bunch of people. You know, Iraq lost hundreds of thousands of fucking people. But the United States, it was a few thousand people, I think. It was not 5 figures, I don't think. It wasn't even like Vietnam. You know, like Vietnam was like fucking, you know, 80,000 fucking people or something. It was a lot of people. for a dumbass, you know, misguided, like, horrifying war. And, you know, the Ukraine war, that is a lot of fucking people to die in a war. And this is not going to be a cakewalk like Iraq or Afghanistan. Now they're going to want to drag us into the shit with them. Drag us into the mud because we pissed them off. And so it's going to escalate. There's no one, I mean, definitely not the United States. You know, there's no one near power. Maybe this is not a good place to be. If there were to be some kind of sleeper cell thing, it probably would be at Rockefeller Center. Probably should avoid shit like this for the near future. So who knows? I mean, the Ukraine thing is still going on, right? They can't seem to quit it. Trump isn't helping, or he tries to help and is whatever the hell he's doing. But you know, this is probably not going to be like Trump on an aircraft carrier in a month. Mission accomplished. So we'll just keep watching the show. And you know, these Gen Z guys who voted for this, buckle up, get ready, because you're going to be the ones taking bullets in the face. So you voted for it, you know? You should have known better. You should have listened. They should have watched my live streams. If only people watched my live streams and listened to me, we could have avoided all of this. If only people tuned in. All of this. You know, it could be President Harris, Madam President, first woman of color in the White House, trying to give everybody $50,000 for a house. But instead we got World War III. Because Tony Hinchcliffe made a joke about Puerto Rico. All right, well, thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll be back on probably tomorrow or something to just, you know, shout into the void some more. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. Stay peaceful, you know? Resist. There should be protests. There should be fucking, don't go to your job, you know? I don't even see people posting about it. You know? It's like people, I don't know. Maybe all that shit's getting blocked. All right. Have a good night.
So